Africa is becoming more populous and richer. It has experienced unprecedented and uninterrupted economic growth for the past 3 decades. But if African countries are to become economically successful, their governments will have to implement adequate policies which contribute to the expansion of the private sector, job creation, and an increase in the productivity levels. Corruption must be dealt with in Africa. Unemployment, mainly among the youth, is another challenge facing African leaders. These and many more issues that hinders our growth will be discussed on the banner and provide the why, how, and what to accelerate the continent's dream of economic freedom. Watch on the banner every Saturday. It's going to be hot, heated, but focused. Africa's future success will depend on stability, sound policies, and solid institutions. Don't miss this. You're welcome to another session of On the Banner. My name is Agyepnng Gono. Like we do between the hours of 3 and 5 every Saturday, very sizzling, dispassionate, and very hearty discussion. For this afternoon, we'll be very, very privileged. Somebody who is so busy around the clock, apart from his business, he delves into the issues of the development of this nation. I call him the #1 fighter against corruption. He does it in his own quarters. He goes out there, wherever he finds himself. He tries his best to ensure that what must be done right. He is quite a popular face, and he needs no introduction. But for formality's sake, let's all welcome into our studio and homes, wherever you might be around Ghana, those who are watching us via the internet, streaming live on the net, and other parts of Africa. From BTA channel, we have with us Honorable Kennedy Agyepnng. Boss, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
It's nice meeting you.
It's a pleasure.
I'm most privileged because I know how tight you were. And this interview even comes up as, I'll say unplanned, because I just took you by surprise, but luckily for me, you honored it. That is not the usual thing. So I must first of all apologize for the impromptu manner I had to just get you into this discussion. Yes, we will not waste listeners' time and viewers, because they know what you stand for all these years. And you've been very consistent and persistent in what you do, especially in the area of fighting against corruption. There's been a lot of exposure for the public consumption about how things are run from the political end, perhaps inept attitude displayed at administration, at the government level, not purely on partisan basis, but seriously on what we must do as Ghanaians to be forth going. So, just this week, you took center stage in the media discussions, and this is in connection with the Wyoming saga, which has lingered on for quite a long time. Ghanaians have been impatient. A few of you have blazed a trail, shouting on top of your voices, creating the alertness that you must do what is right, amongst many other allegations. But above all, for this week, what really took center stage was your wanting the former Attorney General to be also hauled to court. And some of us find it a little bit not bizarre, because among many other issues, some of us felt that is just the tip of the iceberg, because during this period, a lot of names have come up, like the Batino Drows, etc., the finance. Why have you just centered on Betty Mould this time?
Well, first of all, I'll say thank you to you for giving me audience. This is the first time since the saga and the ruling from Supreme Court that I'm granting live interview.
We are post-privileged, sir.
Yeah. I stress on Betty Mould Idrisu because he was the Attorney General.
Okay.
And as I said earlier, if I had been informed of topics, I would have come up with
finish that with some documents, all right.
For it, and I'll read for your audience.
This is not going to be the last time.
Your audience to see and know why I'm saying that the woman was she was a center stage who organized and fraudulently assisted Woyomi to take the money.
Okay.
I have one document that Betty Modidusu was actually fighting the finance minister, and to a point that she was insulting him, that she's the attorney general and she's the advisor to the government. So if she says she should pay, he should pay, then he has to go ahead and do that. I was shocked. So I had opportunity to question the finance minister, and I have a witness. Adakabre was there. In presence of Adakabre, the man admitted and said, look, I didn't even know anything about...
That is the former finance minister.
Yeah, former finance minister, Kwabena before. I didn't even know anything about Woyomi's case until a lady called me at 7 p.m. to tell me that, say, there's a document on your table. When you get there tomorrow, don't sign it because it's fraudulent. So he came in the morning.
And he didn't know who called. Who called? It was an anonymous call?
One of his workers.
Okay.
At Minister of Finance.
Okay.
Alerted him that, look, it's fraudulent, so don't sign it. So he came and accordingly refused to sign. He said within 30 minutes, Woyomi was in his office insulting him, insulting Kwabena Dufo.
He had the audacity.
Yes, to insult Dr. Kwabena Dufo. And subsequently, Betty Modidusu, was coming up with harsh letters to the finance minister to pay. That is why I give him benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
It doesn't mean he wasn't part of it.
Yeah.
Today I've read the AFAC and the lump.
Because he could have stood his ground and even resigned.
Yes, and even resigned.
Yes.
So, and after that, you see, I'm not basing my arrest of Betty Modidusu only on Woyomi's case.
Okay.
There are several
All right.
of such fraudulent cases that she failed to appear in court and insisted that the finance minister should pay. When you leave, you take Woyomi's case out, you have the CP.
Yeah.
She paid 94 million euros.
I remember.
And this 94 million euros, unfortunately for her, I'm conversant with the area because I'm from Asimfos.
All right.
And that road is Yamransa Area Quanta Road. And the history is that the first contract was given to a CP. They didn't do it.
Okay.
And Rollins abrogated it and found money from got Japanese grant. So they split the road into two.
Okay.
Yamransa to Asim Praso was done by Dawood. Then Adanse Praso to Anya Quanta was also constructed by Kajima.
All right.
In my hometown, we have the quarry. So that is where Dawood settled. And today, it is the immigration training school.
Yes.
Okay? So I'm conversant with everything. CP did not do anything there for you to pay 94 million.
When you say CP did not do anything, work not done, or they were not on site?
They were not on site. We didn't see them there. They were not on site. They said, you see, on site means you moved the equipment.
Equipment, yes. You started work, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't start any work. And Rollins took the contract from them. This woman paid 94 million. When you look at or listen to the commissioner, the evidence coming out, you see that the woman did not even consult roads and highways, the executives, nothing. On her own, she decided to pay the money. Then comes Rockshell. Rockshell took government to court because he claims Rollins destroyed his properties or assets.
Yeah.
So under NPP government, he took government to court. He won the case and he accepted, they even negotiated with him, and he accepted $12 million.
Out of court settlement or something?
Right. Then they gave $5 million and we were left with $7 million.
Yeah.
Would you believe that Betty Modidusu, instead of paying $7 million, ended up paying $35 million to this man?
Reasons given?
Nobody knows. Kwame Nkrumah's time, Kumasi Sojalai around the Prempeh College, not the main Sojalai. That's how we call it. Kwame Nkrumah took this land for the military. They went to court. Betty Modidusu paid one of the kings, it's called Osei Tutu, not Otumfuo, 27 million Ghana cedis. Then another queen mother also took 11 million, making 38 million. In 2010, 38 million was equivalent to $25 million. My brother, series of them. So the total payment she made in 2010 alone
under her watch,
was around $20 million. Went ahead in 2011 and paid $447 million, all judgment debt. My brother. So if you have one evidence against this woman, it is not just a question of making her resign. She has to face the rigors of the law, and especially a punitive one because she's a lawyer.
To serve as a deterrent to
precisely
the future.
So that others will not go the same way to steal.
Has she been given the opportunity to explain herself?
My brother, who should give her opportunity? And get one thing straight. The way government covers up. If they have no element of truth, they wouldn't have forced her to resign. That is the gospel truth. If they did not find anything wrong with whatever she did, they would have asked her to resign.
Under the watch of an Attorney General, Betty Mould Idrisu, what do you think will be the motivation for all these payments, for which allegations are being leveled against her?
It is simply greed, one, and over ambitions. And I remember in Macbeth, it says, it is only vaulting ambition which overleaps itself and falls on the other. She was so ambitious that she will become the first woman president.
She nurtured those ambitions which you know of.
And she felt and she knew that President Mills could not make his term.
Is this something you're making out of grapevine, or you have it?
Listen, I am on top of issues, and I know.
I'm here to find out how you get on top of issues.
Yeah, I'm on top of issues, and I know. You see, there were power struggle because they all knew that President Mills could not make his term.
Because he was terminally ill.
Right. So all of them blocks. They were trying to find money for themselves to influence their voters. Okay? So I think I killed her dreams by insisting on my grounds that, listen, this woman is involved. Reading all the letters she wrote to Kwabena before and the rest. And I actually gave the documents to Adakabre to give it to President Mills. Because they were giving him wrong information.
At one time, it was alleged that even the president asked them to halt some payments which were being done. And against his orders as the number one person, these things were done. And I really don't get it. You're a politician. What could have motivated people to do? I think that it is tantamount to palace coup. Because the boss says, don't do it. And yet people go ahead.
Yeah, it's all because the man was ill.
Unfortunately.
Benefit of the doubt.
May he so rest in peace.
Yeah, all because the man was ill and his executives, they took advantage of his illness to dupe the country. Okay? You're at a point when he says A, the next time you meet him, he even forgets that he said A or B. So they took advantage of that.
Is it not also an exposure, a negative one, which shows that institutionally we are a little bit bankrupt, in the sense that some of us would have accepted that the Auditor General and other government institutions could have taken advantage of the situation to really do a proper auditing, to inform.
But that I disagree with you, and I'll praise the Auditor General. Because look, I've realized that it's one institution or department that is not biased, because he comes out with the facts. How did I get to know about Woyome? It was through Auditor General's report. So I wouldn't say that Auditor General did not do his job. I would not be fair to him at all. We have to be sincere. Whoever is in charge of a project or an institution or department, if he works hard, we have to praise him. Anybody who doesn't work, we have to criticize him. I will not have the moral grounds even to criticize the Auditor General. He does his work, he presents it to Parliament, and it is up to Parliament to go through all the documents and call the appropriate institutions that is mentioned in his document for us to question them. So I personally believe that Auditor General has done his part, because all these revelations came from Auditor General, because parliamentarians don't have the privilege to know contracts that ministries are signing. No, we are not privy to that.
What should have been the normal practice?
Yeah, the normal practice is the same. All we do is we approve the loans. We don't monitor disbursement.
Okay.
But we also have the mandate and the right to ensure that whatever they took the money, they use it for it. But as for parliamentarians going out there to monitor everything, we do. We sometimes inspect projects and all those things. But we don't monitor disbursement. So you can't blame parliamentarians. We get the feedback from Auditor General, who audits all the institutions and departments. Okay? Then we take it from there. So I will be honest with you, I think
some experts have proposed that with the spate of contract abrogation, payment of debts, the kind of, in quotes, wastage that is occurring, we should restructure the way we have our financial governance, let me put it that way, so that the cabinet must have a say and perhaps the legislature must have a say before such monies are, in quotes, doled out or even considered, amidst Auditor General's report and advice, before even the Attorney General goes ahead to do what it's got to do.
You know, you can't usurp powers like that. So I personally believe that whatever structures we have, it is good enough to operate. What we need to do, in simple terms, is honesty. We just have to be honest to ourselves, truthful to ourselves.
But systems can ensure that honesty prevails, not just on the individual's own intuitions.
You see, you can't give everything to Parliament. Parliament should do this. We have other things doing. So you spread it out. When it goes to the ministry, the minister is in charge, but he has chief director. And under the chief director, he has a lot of directors working with him.
Would you force somebody if he says, or he or she says that perhaps we need immense capacity building, because many experts, even from the economic front, have come out about capacity building, and therefore, perhaps as an individual and a human being, sampling Madam Maud Idrisu, perhaps she did not even have the capacity, and she failed to realize that she needed a capacity, such that if government did not even have capacity, they could have gone out to get consultants to really look at some of these issues.
My brother, you are being theorist. I will tell you the truth. The questions that you are asking, you see, we need pragmatic solutions. And I'm telling you, the way forward is honesty. I come back to the same thing.
I agree.
You know why? We have intellectual dishonest people.
That is true.
Okay?
I agree.
You see how highly educated this woman is and how she has caused the nation. I can give you another example of GIPC. If I tell you what that Kwabena Jumo's sister is doing at GIPC, you have no idea. Is she not educated? So what kind of logistics, what kind of level of education do you need? You can bring the whole world's technology. If you don't have honest people to manage, to control it, to monitor it, to manage it, forget it.
Talking about honesty, I have also been an advocate of orientation, and reading and doing a little bit of research. Some experts, again, think that there has to be some orientation, politics, ethics, or ethics of politics, orientation for public workers in general. Do you think it is long overdue?
I agree with you, because the problems that we are facing, because we talk about politicians, simply because we are the people who go out there to ask for the people's mandate.
Yeah.
That is why we accuse politicians a lot. But I'm telling you, whatever Betty Modusu did, she was aided by the civil servant or the public servants. Okay? When you take this same Auditor General's report, my colleagues are here, they will tell you, in 2011, the embezzlement at one ministry alone, that is Ministry of Finance, was 1,965,272,072 Ghana cedis. And this same Auditor General converted it into cedis at 1.54 to a dollar.
Are all parliamentarians privy to these reports?
Yes.
And generally, it surprises me just a handful of you who are trumpeting all this.
Well, you know, that I cannot answer for anybody.
Okay.
But I've made this statement on the floor of the House that very day when I got up, my colleagues on the other side felt as usual I was going to lambast NDC. But this time I took a swipe on the civil servant because that is what the report said. Auditor General indicted Minister of Finance. And I want to give you the conversion that he did. At 1.54, it came to $1.3 billion. So when we were going to take the Eurobond, it came to Parliament. And I got up and said, Mr. Speaker, that is when they felt I was going to lambast the NDC. But this time, I said, listen, you see, because we have gone there to ask for the people's mandate, that is why they blame us for everything. And of course, if you say you're a minister and you don't monitor what your people do, whatever mistakes they make, they'll blame you. That is why they blame us. But the civil servants are even worse than politicians. Because one ministry, that year, 2011 alone, they embezzled $1.3 billion when the whole nation was going for Eurobond of $1 billion.
I love calling you Ken. Allow me this time to call you yes. Our WhatsApp number on text line is 0506290721. Like you always do. Please, you keep the text coming and then we'll react appropriately as the show goes on. Well, coming back, I'm sure with the issue you've raised, some audience will be a little bit perturbed in the sense that with my 15 years or so, the media terrain, I've had a lot of interaction with senior civil servants. And off record, you could find that politicians interfere a lot. There is a lot of interference in their work. Would you blame them?
You know, I have two scenarios to solve the problem. First of all, if the politicians do not interfere, we are answerable to every problems they create. And therefore, we have to interfere to know what is going on in the ministries or the agencies and departments. Again, if you also interfere too much, the influence, even when the director or the institution has to use their own guidelines to approve or give tender, come up with a tender documents for somebody to, of course, the politicians will instruct the directors to give it to a particular person, which might not even qualify.
That is the problem.
It is true. But you see, we need, and I have said it, I'll continue to say it all boils down to honesty. If you don't have civil servants who are honest, if you don't have politicians who are honest, then there's chaos. And our culture, don't blame politicians alone. From day one, our environment, the system is so corrupt that growing up, you think by stealing, they don't know that whatever actions they take indirectly is stealing.
Culturally.
Yeah, they go out there, take whatever they want, build whatever houses they have, and they think they are not corrupt.
We are in a kind of dire straits. Everybody knows. And it's becoming a problem. The politicians at this stage blaming the civil servants or public servants, and those of us on the fringes will also think that politicians, where does the onus lie? Should it not be the politician who is the supreme guide in this scenario?
You see, you can also be honest and come out with the truth. You also don't do it. You, the media people, you go there and take solid and you call it a gift.
I agree.
It's also part of corruption. I want to bring you to the, the fundamentals.
The fundamentals.
Okay?
That is true.
That's where it starts. You see, the media, before you project whatever I say, when I finish the program, it will determine the song I give you before you put it out.
That is true. I've had my own experiences sending things out there. It's true.
You see, my brother,
reality. So
we are all to blame.
Leadership must show the way. And the politicians are the leaders.
Yeah. The only time I accept the blame is that if we politicians, in the course of disbursing or in the course of doing our job, we are seen to be honest, it will trickle down to the ordinary workers. Again, if I'm honest, I will not be afraid to punish any corrupt official. Okay, so therefore, I agree that politicians should take the lead. If we are truthful, we'll have the nerves to punish it. Now, I'll give you straight answer to this. Because President Mahama himself has surrounded himself with his brothers who are so corrupt. And he knows.
That is a wild allegation.
I'm telling you. When I started Wyoming, they say wild allegations. Do you know what Ibrahim is doing in this country? And you are calling me, telling me it's wild allegation. The merchant bank loan.
I just want to find out, just before you go ahead, we have lawyers and professionals in this country who have consistently been on trails such as defrauding this country. Allegations here, allegations there. Ghanaians have causes to raise eyebrows, a lot of noise, and you have certain lawyers who have consistently been behind some of these transactions. Consistently. What do you make of that fraternity?
They are president's lawyers. Can you believe that? Go and check the water bill.
I hope you don't mention names here.
Check the water bill case. Go and check the water.
So they are specialized in making sure.
The water bill's case was handled by the current Attorney General's office. How is he going to take the money? How is she going to take the money? Didn't she take her fees? When you knew.
So people are compromised all over.
Precisely.
My brother, it's become a problem, because then let's get down to the basics. I sympathize, because I've been in politics myself, I sympathize with politicians because there's not a culture. No money, you don't represent. Where and how? It's a big problem, but it's difficult to detach ourselves from some of these things. Where can we begin from? Where electorates will know that they're giving you the mandate based on your competence, your ability, passion, not because even if you are good, you ought to do something before they see you through. At the delegates level, whatever level, chiefs compromise, everybody. Where do we start from?
My brother, the problem is that everybody is angry and hungry. What the voters now are doing is that they don't trust we the politicians.
No more.
So they said, listen, get whatever you can get from him. Because the moment he becomes a member of parliament,
forget
he will
it.
not remember you again. Okay? So until parliamentarians, the executive, the president are able to fulfill some promises that we made, there's no way the voters are going to believe in us, and therefore they will always extract. But the politicians, we have a problem. We always influence the ignorant by showering them with few things.
Because they have no reason to vote anyway. It's only on tribal or just what you do for them.
Well,
education.
You know, we just take them for granted.
Yeah.
I'm part of it. You go there and you realize the people's situation. Look, 5 cities will even make a difference.
That is true.
You don't even want to do anything. You just go and find money and just distribute the 5 cities. Okay?
A lazy approach.
Precisely.
Because you wouldn't have the time to really educate them.
And after giving this money, when you are elected as the MP or president,
you are not a Father Christmas.
You have to recoup. That is where the corruption starts. Some people go to the extent of borrowing
to finance even their campaign. That is a pity.
Okay? So when he's fortunate to win the election, then the masses are in trouble. He has to get 1,000 folds of whatever he paid.
It's an investment.
Right there, the corruption starts. Because ask my colleagues how much we make. I think, I would say, I don't know, but probably I'm one of the highest paid member of parliament now.
Okay.
Why I'm saying that is that we all take 7,200.
All right.
But they've taken the car loan.
Okay.
After that, a lot of my colleagues have taken other loans.
All right.
And they are deducting it.
So your take home is just negligible.
I know a colleague who earns 44 Ghana cedis a month.
Your colleague sitting out here saying it's true.
I know a colleague who makes 192 Ghana cedis a month.
Jesus Christ.
Okay?
So how do you survive?
I woke up in the morning, before I came here, people have lined up. Where am I going to get the money?
Can we create a platform and start educating Ghanaians?
Why not?
I was with Amafuya, my presidential candidate, when I was a running mate. We went out to Volta region, and I did tell the electorate, you see, note that whatever we give you here will affect your roads, your water, etc. So sometimes you must also genuinely come out. I don't know how they took it. There were smiles on their faces, but at the long run, you have to give people transport back to where they're coming from. So do you think that there should be, to cater all this, we should fund politicians?
Yeah, I
think can it help?
Not because I'm parliamentarian, but they need to resource parliament, honestly. Because I said I'm one of the highest paid because
I understand.
After the car loan,
yes.
I've not taken
that is
loan
it.
again.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
We
all make the same.
I understand it perfectly. Yes.
After the car loan,
yes.
I have not taken any loan.
Okay.
So I make 4,000.
Maybe you could have even dodged the car loan.
4,554 Ghana cedis.
Yes.
This is how much I make.
Did you need a car from Parliament? You didn't need it.
Yes, you need it.
No, but.
No, I can, yes.
Is it because it's subsidized? It's because it's subsidized.
Yeah.
Because I know the kind of cars you use.
Yeah.
And excuse me, they rival any of those cars that I give you. So you could have dodged that.
Fine. That I agree.
Okay.
But the point is, as a matter of principle,
yeah.
Ministers, chief directors, and directors of various ministries, they don't buy cars. They use them free. They give them coupons to go and buy fuel. Ask my friends sitting here. We buy our own fuel. Okay? And I pity my NDC young man here. Because he's not a minister.
Yeah.
Nothing is coming. Okay?
I don't know when I'll get the opportunity, but you are hitting it right on the head. People like the Indums are advocating that there should be we should detach ministerial appointments from the legislature.
Yes.
Because I think that people do not have enough time to think of their constituencies more than even the offices they hold. Because your government can go, but you still remain an MP. And that is better for you. So people do not even get committed to the work of government.
You see, it is not only the time. Why I think Parliament has to be independent is that because we have a lot of our colleagues appointed to be ministers, they always come to us and lobby. Okay? But if we are independent and executive is also independent, my brother, you can't just come and rub shoulders.
Specialization. Everybody specializes in
there as Parliament.
Yeah.
We have logistics. As I speak, we don't even have office.
For all this while.
Okay? Nothing. You've been to Parliament before and you see that extended sitting, they'll just go and buy a papaya.
You've said it several times. It's a pity.
The
dignity of the office itself is not being upheld.
Yeah.
So we need to look at it.
You know, if you get young men like my friend sitting here who are just come to Parliament.
Well, you get to see the young man he's talking about, because he'll grant me some 5 minutes or 10 minutes interview. We'll have an interesting time. And don't forget the WhatsApp line 0506290721. I've been speaking to Honorable Kennedy Agyepnng. I was just lucky. I don't know how to express myself. I've become emotional because he granted me this interview. I have just about 10 minutes to roll. We've said all this, come to the fundamentals, trade off a little, because that is what is characterized our politics and is influencing indirectly for people to think that they do not execute their jobs professionally because they need to be resourced to carry on with whatever ambitions they have. Some of the spirit you alluded to, some of the actions taken by certain persons. What can we do to also stop this unnecessary abrogation or committing ourselves to contracts, entangling ourselves? Do we have a system in place to ensure that things are properly done?
You know, let me be fair.
Yes, please.
This MPP is guilty, NDC is guilty.
This should have been the conclusion of our discussion, but we are not yet. Yes.
And NDC is guilty with this question you've asked.
Yeah.
But before I explain why both parties are guilty, the truth of the matter is some contracts, if you take over as government and you see the shady deals involving that contract, you have no other option than to abrogate it. I'll be honest. Especially when the elections are over and you know which party has won. Okay? If the party in government did not win within that period of December 7th to January 7th, the contract they execute or give out, when you go into it, my brother, you have no other choice than to abrogate it.
And yet, as legislature, as politicians, you don't think it is necessary to punish people who commit us and create this sort of, I'll see it as a murder to the larger society, because it's deprivation. We do not develop monies that should go to schools, whatever. Just few people, individual interest, for the interest of the party, for campaign. Things are done in haphazard manner.
You see, when you do that, Ghanaians are quick to say witch hunting. That is why I'm saying both parties are guilty. When genuinely you know that these contracts were fraudulently given out and you want to abrogate it, and because the minister or those responsible have appended their signature, it gives them, whoever won the contract, it gives him the right to go to court. Okay? So this case, both parties that are ruling or that have been in power will fall be guilty. But another thing that is also not good, why I'm saying both parties are guilty, is that when they take over power, and I'll give you, today I saw in the newspapers, now they're going to continue on what President Kufuor left. I think they said 1,537 apartments.
Yeah.
Okay. And I remember Dr. Toniedu openly saying that they should not continue anything that MPP left behind, and rather start their own thing for people also to see what they do.
Because they thought that it was the beneficiaries. The beneficiaries might be MPP folk.
Not even that.
The suspicion.
They think MPP will take the credit if they continue.
It doesn't make sense anyway. It's
Meanwhile,
preposterous.
we started
It's about Ghana.
Something. Professor Mills took the credit.
That's.
You see, so when you have politicians who are so ignorant and only think of their political party, then we are doomed.
I will not be naive, because, honorable, politics is purely business. So it is about the ethics of conducting business.
Well,
because politics is business world over,
so
from America to the Asia.
If politics is business and ethics of conducting business, what is the ethics?
Honesty.
Honesty.
But there should be structures to ensure that
again
people are punished if they are not.
You see, I am bold to criticize MPP and NDC because I don't depend on politics to live.
Okay.
Okay?
I understand.
So I can criticize MPP, and look, I'm not criticizing NDC now because I did it under Kufuor's administration.
Yeah.
And they were all the time reporting me to President Kufuor that won this boy, he's destroying our party. Rather, if they had listened to me, would have won 2008 election.
I think the biggest campaign for any political party now is the fight against corruption. Honorable, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure having you. This is not going to be the last time. I'll come more prepared. Forgive me for this impromptu one. I'm so grateful. I know you'll be traveling today and perhaps on Sunday. God guide you and bring you safely back. We need more like you. On this note, thank you, viewers. We'll continue right after this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Africa is becoming more populous and richer. It has experienced unprecedented and uninterrupted economic growth for the past 3 decades. But if African countries are to become economically successful, their governments will have to implement adequate policies which contribute to the expansion of the private sector, job creation, and an increase in the productivity levels. Corruption must be dealt with in Africa. Unemployment, mainly among the youth, is another challenge facing African leaders. These and many more issues that hinders our growth will be discussed on the banner and provide the why, how, and what to accelerate the continent's dream of economic freedom. Watch on the banner every Saturday. It's going to be hot. heated but focused. Africa's future success will depend on stability, sound policies, and solid institutions. Don't miss this.